Buenos días a todas y a
Hello,
todos. En primer
everyone.
lugar, me gustaría hacer una
First
referencia
of all,
teniendo en cuenta
I
los
would like to
acontecimientos que estamos viviendo en las últimas 48 horas.
talk about what's been going
Como
on in the
lo
last 48 hours.
venimos reiterando
We have
en
been
todos
repeating this
los consejos JAIS y en comparecencias
in
distintas
all
de este ministro del Interior, del presidente del Gobierno y de
instances of the
otros
Interior
ministros del Gobierno de
Ministry
España durante los últimos
and
años,
throughout the government, as
cómo
we've been
en lo
saying
que
for
concerne
years.
la
Clearly,
migración irregular, las mafias, la
there's an issue with
desorganización de la
irregular
migración irregular
movements.
por parte de las mafias,
There are
cuesta vidas
mafia actors
y luchar contra la
acting,
migración
and this
irregular
costs lives.
es
We must
salvar vidas.
fight irregular migration and
Los
we must
tristes
save
acontecimientos,
lives.
dramáticos acontecimientos
These
que se
dramatic
están
events
desarrollando en Ceuta en las últimas
have
48 horas,
been
al menos
happening in Ceuta over 48 hours
67
now.
vidas se
At
han
least
visto
77
desgraciadas. Y
lives have
esto
been lost.
acontece en base
This
a las
has happened
mafias que
because of the
trafican con
actions
seres
of
humanos en
mafias,
situaciones de máxima
human
precariedad.
traffickers,
Por
and people
eso
who take
España,
advantage of
y
vulnerable
también
people.
dentro del marco
Therefore,
de la Unión Europea,
Spain,
está
within the EU,
perfectamente alineada y en la
is
vanguardia en la lucha
perfectly
contra la migración
aligned
irregular.
and in the forefront of the fight against
Por
illegal
eso quería que estas
movements.
primeras palabras de esta
Those
comparecencia
are the first things I
fueran
would like to say today.
realmente dirigidas a lo que debe de ser la voluntad prioritaria
This has
en
been
toda política migratoria y de lucha contra la migración irregular, que no es otra que la de
uh,
salvar vidas.
this has been the focus of our
Ayer ya
migration policy.
manifestó el presidente del gobierno cómo lo que vivimos el pasado
Yesterday, the
30 de
President of
julio aquí en
Spain
Ceuta fue sin duda
described
alguna
what has
un
happened on the
ataque
30th of
a la
July.
integridad
This
territorial de
was
España, a
an
la
attack on the
integridad
territorial
territorial de
integrity
Ceuta y
of
que no
Spain and
podríamos en modo
Ceuta.
alguno admitir.
This cannot be permitted.
Que inmediatamente se dispuso de todos los medios
Immediately, all means were made
para hacer frente
available,
a esa
additional resources
situación.
to face this
Más
situation
efectivos personales de Policía
in
Nacional, de
terms
la
of
Guardia Civil,
personnel,
también
national
el
police,
Ejército,
civil guard, also the
medios
army,
aéreos, medios
also
marítimos
air,
complementarios.
air resources,
En ese
additional
sentido, también
resources
somos
were made available.
todos conscientes que
As
en
you know,
menos de 48 horas
in less than
la
48 hours,
situación en Ceuta
the
no
situation in
tiene
Ceuta
nada que ver y
has
que la
changed
normalidad
entirely.
se está
Normality
afianzando.
is
También
returning.
saben, ya se ha informado
You also
de
know,
que
you've
en
been
esta
told
madrugada ya hemos empezado
that now, today,
al establecimiento
we have
de lo que
started
es la
to
barrera marítima,
establish
en concreto una barrera neumática
a
y
firm
una primera línea de
maritime
boyas con un
border,
canal
a
intermedio que ya se les
first
dará
line of
un
defense.
conocimiento más concreto al respecto con el fin
More
de
information will be given.
cumplir la
The aim of this
circunstancia administrativa referida por la
is
sentencia del Tribunal
to
Supremo de 8 de julio pasado,
align
donde
with
hacía
the judgment of the
referencia a la
8th of July
disposición
from the
adicional
Supreme
décima
Court
de la ley de extranjería, es decir, las
relating to the law
devoluciones
of foreign
inmediatas en
affairs.
frontera, los
Immediate
rechazos en
detentions
frontera,
on the
tenían
border
que
or
contar
rejection on the
con un
border
elemento de contención físico.
requires a physical
También me
containment
gustaría
element.
hacer
Also,
referencia a cómo
I would like to
nuestro
refer
país
to
es un país
how
de acogida. Es un país de
our
respeto
country functions. The
incuestionable a
country
los derechos humanos y a
welcomes
la
others.
libertad
We
fundamentales,
respect human
más aún si cabe
rights,
de los más vulnerables. Pero también
especially
somos
for the
un
most
país
vulnerable. However,
comprometido de una forma
we are a
ineludible y
country
firme con el
very
cumplimiento
committed
de la ley. Y quien incumple
to
la ley, desde
observing
luego,
the law.
no tiene
People who do
tampoco
not
ningún respaldo
follow
de
the
las
law
autoridades españolas.
do not have the support of
Por
the
eso,
Spanish state.
evidentemente, quienes entraron
Therefore,
de una
I would say
forma
this, the people who
irregular en
entered in an
nuestro
irregular
país, en
way
Ceuta,
in
el
our
pasado
country
día
and
30 de
in
julio,
Ceuta on the 30th of
no
July
tienen ninguna opción de
do
regularización.
not
Razón
have
por la
any
cual
opportunity
también
to be
todos
regularized.
somos conscientes de que
We are
en
all
menos
aware
de 24 horas
that in less than 24 hours, or
han
just more
retornado
than that,
al origen. Sé que las
many have
imágenes
returned.
eran unas imágenes que
We've
nos
seen the images.
representan impactantes para todo y que
There were
pudieron
striking images on the
derivar en
30th.
determinados sentimientos, pero
This
también
could give rise to certain
entiendo que debe
feelings.
ser impactante en
But
positivo la reacción
there is a
del
positive
gobierno
impression
de
to be
España y
taken
del
here.
conjunto de
The Spanish government and all authorities handled this situation quickly. It's been difficult. It has been handled in a very short space of time, a little more than 24 hours, as I say. In migration policy within the EU, Spain has been one of the countries in the vanguard. With our presidency, and as our president said yesterday, we approved the European Pact on Migration. We have been a model within the EU, and we still are, in handling migration policy as a whole. We include this exterior element, this outward-looking element in our policy. We have to work in a decisive way. We have to do ongoing work. We have to work together with countries of origin and transit so we can make it possible for people to live in their own countries. We have to fight against trafficking mafias. We have to use all efforts, as we have been doing for years. Morocco, Mauritania, Senegal, Niger, Gambia, and other countries, there have been reductions in the numbers of irregular journeys, more than 40% over recent years. This has been through decisive policy, with cooperation and trust with these other countries. Many EU countries have also been working on this. Italy, Greece, they are trying to copy our model. As you know, we've been having various partnerships with Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, Senegal, and so on. I will also say this. This has allowed us, for example, between 2021 and 2026, irregular entries to our country have halved compared to Italy, for example. They're less than in Greece. What does this mean? The EU, Frontex, has said that we have the least porous external borders of the EU. This is what Frontex of the EU has said. They have observed this. We have the second most secure borders in the EU. As you know, we do have land borders with Africa, which is not the case for any other member country. We are continuing to work in this regard. This situation has been handled in such a short space of time, with ongoing collaboration with the authorities of Morocco. We have been working with them on an ongoing basis, based on trust. We've been doing serious work together over recent years. I am very satisfied with these relations. Finally, I would like to talk about the letter sent by our President to the President of the Council, European Council, which is an urgent message. There's an important point to be made. It's true that most EU countries have expressed their support for Spain in this situation, a difficult and complicated situation that we have managed to handle in a very short period of time. However, there have been other countries that have shown a very selfish attitude with no solidarity that has been irresponsible. They have taken a selfish approach, trying to score party points. This attitude is not acceptable. We'd ask that there were challenges in 2021 in eastern borders. We recall in 2023 there was a difficult situation in Lampedusa, in Italy. Spain acted in a way that shared the burden of those situations immediately. This selfishness, this lack of a willingness to assume EU values has led to the President of Spain has asked for an extraordinary council session. People have been acting in bad faith or through ignorance. As you know, Ceuta is not part of Schengen. People have used the situation for negative aims. Spain is working seriously on migration policy. We are collaborating with other countries. We have contributed so much, more than other countries. We've been saving lives. We are the country that we have dismantled more of these illegal trafficking networks than any other country. We are a reference point. We are a country of entry. And as with other countries, additional responsibilities have been taken on. There have been other situations in 2021 and 2023, as mentioned. It's a very difficult situation. We have handled this alone through cooperation with Morocco. Spain, in cooperation with Morocco, has been able to resolve this situation that arose on the 30th. As the President said, this was the result of a certain interpretation of a ruling. Spain wants to save lives, protect the most vulnerable. We are still fighting against illegal networks. We apply national legislation regarding human rights. We are rigorous in our fight against those who disobey the law. We do not accept people who break the law. We do not accept breaking of the law in Spain. And we have seen how the situation can arise, as on the 30th. All of these people entered illegally. They were immediately told that they could not enter in Spain. We've been working on this. We've done this internally with Morocco. We will continue to work on this message across the EU. We cannot allow selfishness and party political attitudes and people acting in bad faith to endanger the basic principles of the EU. Thank you very much. Mr. Minister.
Vale, gracias. Una pregunta del Financial Times. Usted dice que está muy satisfecha con la cooperación.
You said you were satisfied with the collaboration with Morocco. We know you have strong links. So, how does this line up with what's happened recently? Is Morocco a threat to the security of Ceuta? I've said clearly, things that happened, like on the 30th, require clear evaluation by Spain, also by all joint commissions. However, clearly, that cooperation has made it possible to resolve the situation in just over 24 hours. So I would say, no, Morocco is not a threat to Ceuta or the rest of Spain. It is a partner, a reliable one, absolutely.
Ministro, buenos días. Para Telemadrid le queríamos preguntar si nos puede aclarar si los servicios secretos advirtieron de que esta situación se podía llegar a producir.
Was there a warning this could happen? There was no report on this as a risk that we could have drawn on.
Hola, soy de la RAI, la televisión de Italia. Hay muchos ataques desde el gobierno de Italia. Giorgia Meloni, en los últimos 48 horas.
Giorgia Meloni in Italy has been attacking your actions. What's the response to this sibling of the Mediterranean? Now there's this confrontation. I would say this. I would ask for more solidarity, more responsibility, and less selfishness. The selfishness we've seen goes beyond ignorance. Ceuta, clearly, is not Schengen. We handle this in 24 hours. This party political point scoring is selfish. Let's cooperate and talk and remember Lampedusa in 2023. Some people have a short memory.
Sí, señor ministro, para Rafael Peña de la agencia EFE, yo quisiera preguntarle si nos puede aclarar un poco el tema de los datos, sobre todo de las personas que han entrado, de las personas que han salido, y si tiene constancia.
Can you clarify the data, who's come in and left?
Porque hay muchos ciudadanos que se están quejando de que siguen muchos inmigrantes por la ciudad.
There are many immigrants in the city still, they say. Thank you. We have approximate numbers. When it's such a significant number, it's very difficult to be precise. It's very hard to know how many people have left also. I would like to refer to 50 to 60,000 came in. Almost all of them have left Ceuta. You can see the difference with yesterday. When I came to Ceuta, within around 24 hours, things have changed. There have been a big flow of people returning to Morocco. Today, there are Ceutan people out and about, shopping, shops have opened. We are returning to normality, not quite as they're on the 29th yet, but there's been a big change in the situation. So we've worked quickly on this. I would stress this. This has been due to the National Police, the Civil Guard, and local authorities in Ceuta. I recognize their work on this.
Sí, buenos días, ministro May Mariño del periódico. Escuchándole, se podría decir más o menos como que la crisis ya la van dando por cerrada de alguna manera. ¿Hasta cuándo va a estar presente este refuerzo policial y militar?
How long will there be reinforcements of the police in Ceuta? Also, do you have data? On unconfirmed figures. Thank you. Indeed. We don't have precise figures, but there's been a massive development in the situation. Almost all of those who entered have returned. So the armed forces and police will remain for now. It is vital. Regarding also incidents, not significant ones. Some have occurred, but they have been dealt with instantly. So we have a responsibility to protect the public, we show solidarity, and to face up this minority that is aggressive or violent in this situation, this being a small minority.
si Marruecos le informó a tiempo a las autoridades españolas con las que mantiene esa colaboración tan cordial, como ustedes siguen destacando, les informó a tiempo de lo que se estaba labrando desde el 20 de julio al otro lado de la frontera, porque por eso el presidente de la ciudad autónoma dice que ustedes han tenido una respuesta tardía.
Bueno, sabe el presidente
So,
de la comunidad autónoma y siempre lo ha
the,
reconocido.
the autonomous community president has done exceptional work showing solidarity. We've heard from President Vivas, and he's recognized the work of the government of Spain. President Ceuta and Melilla, or in Ceuta now, there have been special efforts made, reindustrialization, technological efforts and initiatives. They know great efforts have been made. We've responded in 24 hours to a crisis. Lots of resources have to be assigned. We've done this. So immediately also, the President of Spain immediately spoke to the autonomous president, talking about economic measures that are necessary to help companies and traders that have suffered any kind of loss from this situation. This is the way we handle any crisis. On migration issues, it's complicated, it's difficult. These are situations that are hard to understand and handle. There are so many illegal groups and networks exploiting vulnerabilities. They can use excuses like a misinterpretation or bad faith interpretation of verdicts, and that we're there to handle the consequences.
Ministro, dentro de esa colaboración que usted destaca con Marruecos, ¿les consta que hayan intentado parar ellos desde su parte de la frontera el flujo de migrantes? Porque la percepción un poco de la ciudadanía es que no.
Could you talk about attempts made to stop herd migrants? Also,
¿puede usted garantizar que una entrada tan masiva de migrantes no se va a volver a repetir? Gracias.
Could this happen again? Thank you. Firstly, with Morocco, we've been talking to our counterparts in Morocco on an ongoing basis. Within their territory, they've responded to security issues. We've both been working in our territories, trying to prevent illegal migration. Also, we're saying for Ceuta and Melilla, we're working on this to a different extent. They're complex situations. We have continued with our trust relationships as over recent years. We believe we are able to handle any irregular events, and we should be able to protect territorial security. I can't be a fortune teller. We don't know the future. We can't say it won't happen. We have the strength. We have the necessary instruments to respond very quickly to such events. It's a strength we have as a country, and we have effective, real cooperation with neighbors like Morocco.
noche se produjeron algunos altercados en el CETI, han circulado vídeos, los hemos podido ver, y quería que nos comentaran, acudían para ser registrados, que nos comentara qué había pasado, si lo sabía, y luego si esta noche ha habido intentos o han seguido entrando. ¿Cómo está la situación respecto a esta noche?
Have there been further attempts to enter?
La primera de las preguntas son incidentes, vuelvo a decir.
There have been incidents, but not significant ones.
Inmediatamente atajados. No hay ningún
Not necessarily directly linked. There hasn't been a serious problem in this regard.
Si hubiera habido incidentes más graves, o me hacían la pregunta también,
There have been more serious incidents,
parámetros de seguridad, seguro que los tendríamos. Gracias a la
then we would indeed handle those were they to arise. Thanks to the work of the civil guard,
hemos podido concluir que la situación ha sido de una
we have handled
tranquilidad. Y respecto
that situation with in a relatively peaceful way.
Han sido entradas hasta imperceptibles y a partir ya de la madrugada nulas.
There have been virtually no people entering. Since this early morning, I would say none.
Bueno, vuelvo a decir, no voy a
I will say again.
Manifestaciones que se definen por ellas mismas y que si no son ignorancia son mala fe.
I will just have to say people have been acting out of ignorance or in bad faith in regard to attacks. Regarding illegal networks or mafias, the priority for us is to deal with this, working in cooperation with neighbors. We must dismantle criminal networks. What we must save lives. That's a big priority for us.
Es su primera gran crisis cuando está al cargo de la delegación del gobierno. Quisiera saber cómo la han afrontado desde aquí, desde esta institución, qué balance hace de la misma y qué mensaje le mandaría a la población de Ceuta.
Bueno, como dijo ayer el presidente del gobierno y como
as mentioned by the President of Spain and the Minister, there's been an attack on our territorial integrity. I know and I understand the concerns of people of Ceuta. In the government, we've been working on the ground since the very start. We will provide full information on all the measures being carried out, and we will continue to work on this over the coming period. Ceuta has faced significant challenges through its history. I am sure that everyone together will manage to make progress.
Yo quisiera preguntarle, más que una pregunta, una valoración. Desde Ceuta se tiene la percepción de que el retorno de los que entraron masivamente se ha producido por el blindaje propio de la ciudad, por el cierre de negocios, porque no había qué hacer en Ceuta, más que por la presión que haya podido haber en frontera por parte de las fuerzas y cuerpos de seguridad del Estado.
Pues yo diría que es un
I would say
de todo, pero fundamentalmente
that it's a bit of everything.
La presión del Estado es la presión legítima a través
The
de las fuerzas
state has the legitimate authority to act, and we've made it clear that illegal access to our country is something that is not going to work. We are a country where we are seen as the second most effective in the EU. We are the second highest recipient of applications. We must show solidarity, but the law must be obeyed. People who do not obey the law do not have the backing of Spain. So we're very clear on this. So we are working in cooperation, working with our security forces. Thank you.